But anyways, okay. All right. In a world where,
I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears
Oh
when they're
no.
out in France just going nuts.
it, right, right.
This is definitely hide your children, hide your wife, hide yourself.
Man, this is the vent. I'm one of your hosts, Del Najero. I got my other host,
The nerdsy.
and I got my other host on phone line.
Yes, sir. Live from North Carolina.
Hey.
The PD Podville. I said his name wrong.
Mhm.
The PD
This guy said
Podville.
PD Podomobile. That is hilarious.
I didn't.
North Carolina. Isn't it green out there? It's super green out there.
Well, it's green.
Yeah.
It's nice.
A lot of
I like
greenery.
out here.
Yeah.
I think this is like one of my favorite states. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Like
passed
one
by
of
it once. It's beautiful.
like I think I love North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think if there's any place I would love to stay and live, I think it's here.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
You wouldn't? Would you go to South Carolina, or that's a no?
Um, South Carolina is good too. I don't have no problem with it, but yeah, the Carolinas.
Okay.
What was a mumbling?
Sorry.
That was funny. That was funny. Did you get to see at least some of the campuses, and
Yeah.
like the colleges?
Yes, Wake Forest.
Freaking big. What?
Like,
Big.
Wait,
now,
yes.
in terms of size compared to home Toronto here, like the size
Oh,
of
it's
like
massive. Oh, it's massive.
Huge.
Don't even.
Can't
Oh,
even
it's massive.
compare.
You see when you see it on TV. You ever see it on TV and like you hear about like colleges, campus on TV, and you see those like
Yeah.
yeah, we like
Nothing.
like is it okay? Is it
nothing,
like
not even close.
is it
But
like the
think about
size
it,
of is it like the size of York times like 3 or something, or
What?
like it's like
It's basically a town.
You're in
Let's-
like a town.
Yeah.
Like, you're in
Oh.
a town.
oh wow,
That
okay.
is the
like a
campus.
town.
Yeah.
So, but it makes sense why it costs us a lot to go to school here, though. You know what I mean? Remember, you got to think about it. Look at all these schools and on like these universities. Tell me a university that has a meal plan yet. Do they have a meal plan?
That's you stumped me.
But in addition to it,
You stumped me.
all your facilities is there separately
Yes.
in a building on its own.
So that's library, fitness gym,
But fitness would be broken down into whatever specialty you want it.
whatever specialty you want.
Yes.
Wow.
They're big.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, think about that.
Shout out to North Carolina
Like-
schools. Okay.
And when you see the football,
No Toronto universities have a meal plan. Like meal plan to eat. You get paid to eat out here.
Is that why their population is so big? Oh, I just had to.
No,
I just had to go there.
sir,
I
sir.
just had to go there.
ah,
But I mean, if you're getting well fed,
that was a good double entendre. Mm-hmm.
But like,
you know.
but yeah, and then think about it, like, just the whole college like
Experience.
experiences, the fraternities, all of them sitting there.
Yeah, the sorority houses. They also have a
The
place.
sorority, all of them sitting there.
Like
Just
like Kappas and Q
the
dogs,
omegas and the
Omegas.
alphas,
the alphas.
the barking, and all that nonsense, everything.
What's with the twirling stick? What's that about? I never understood that in their culture.
I don't know
I
what
think
type
that's
of
a
slavery
part of
historical thing.
Not
that came
historical
from.
slavery.
Like they do the for those listeners in the States, you guys tend to like do the twirl stick thing and then dance with it and then throw the stick in there. I don't know.
I like the band stuff though,
I
like
think
the
it's
The band stuff is
drumline
cool.
bands.
The band stuff is
It's
cool.
wicked. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That stuff is pretty cool.
Yes.
But other than that, yeah, it's nice over here. I want to franchise one of these restaurants I've seen out here. If I could ever bring it to the city,
Ooh.
I think it'd be a problem still.
And
Yeah.
what is the name of
Express-
this franchise?
I don't want to state that.
Yeah.
I
Right,
do
just in
not want to
case,
state
right?
that just in case someone wants to take
Right.
it and
I
take
hear
it
you.
from me.
I hear you.
Okay.
Well, okay, what would you feel is their food of interest or specialty? You know, is it Caribbean cuisine? Is it a fusion? Is it
Simple pickup food: burgers, fries,
Okay.
like burger fry spot, but
But
it's
it's just
just a
how
very
they do
simple.
it. Got it.
Yeah, like it's a very great one if you're just on the road and pick up and go.
Yeah.
Like right after a party, and that's the thing. I'm thinking about right after a party type thing. So,
She
Like a
just,
big
and you
slice.
know,
she just came from Juviant. I said Joviant. I said it right.
Juvert.
Juvert.
Juviant. Listen to me. You better get that right before we get our special guest next. If you say Juviant to that soca person,
We
we're
got,
gonna have a problem.
yo, I got to prepare for our upcoming guests. I'm going to just say the jumping
It's
wave.
Juve.
Oh,
But
Juve.
yeah, but if you were to say it for everything, it's Juvert.
Juvert.
Yes.
Now,
If
after
you
the
say
Juvert,
Juve, yes.
okay, this
if you
particular
say,
restaurant, like, you want it where, like, it's in Toronto and you can be like, let me get this on the go. Let me go on the blue, the infamous blue line. Or let me take an Uber home and then, yo, let me enjoy this meal.
yes, something like that. But you know what I want it to also be like? You ever seen those places back in the day where it's like you always see it on TV? That place where it's like you get food and people are having a good time outside the event, outside the restaurant. So it's like a party inside and a party outside, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like a some type of, but I don't know how to explain all
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about because what's her name? Yandy from Housewives? Or no, is it hip hop? Whichever one.
Is she a wife?
Yandy.
I shouldn't have asked
I
that.
think she is a wife.
Yo,
But Yandy, she has
did
a
you just say
restaurant.
is she a wife?
Yeah, he did
Is that what I
question.
heard?
He questioned whether or not she is.
I don't know, because on the shows they say hip hop wives, but like a lot of them are,
Yes.
yeah, a lot of them.
What is she
You know.
from? Oh my gosh. But yes, Yandy Smith, she appeared on one of those reality TV shows. And she has a restaurant, I believe, where they party inside and outside.
Okay.
That's not it. But I'm going to find it. And there's a few Instagram and YouTubers that I follow that actually have it. This is it.
Indoor and outdoor.
Yeah.
She get
A
live
whole
music,
party. Yeah.
band and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
All the
Yep.
mimosas you could drink.
Yep.
That's the thing. That's the thing that I'm surprised at the city. I never thought Toronto would ever have that bottomless mimosas.
We do. We
Like I
do.
no, because I know that in the States that's big. And the first time I went to that was in my 20s, and all this time I
Yes.
never thought that we would ever see that in the States. I
Yes.
thought it because of the prices and the markups.
Yes. No, I understand.
But you know what I mean? But now that I hear that it might happen, I'm like,
But
which it's I guess it's a thing and it's interesting to see. But hey,
it is. And you know who does do it? I'm going to shamelessly plug them because they have been such a great space for us creatives and entrepreneurs in Toronto. Sunday Social, they're holding their brunch, I think the second Sunday of every month for the summer. And they do unlimited mimosas. So
shout out to them.
Bottomless.
I seen them at Collision actually. I was at Collision and I seen them. I was like, hey man, how you guys doing? Like I didn't say how you guys doing, but like they're cool people. Shout out to them.
Right. Shout out to you guys.
They're-
Sunday Social.
But yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
Different parts of the city, and then
They definitely bring the culture. For sure. What? Anything you want. I feel like
let's
there's a lot
see.
of people.
Let's as long as we have it, let's hope we get to have it because we just have a new mayor, which is Shoutout. Is now Shoutout.
wow.
And
Chow
how do you guys
Mania.
feel about this? How did you guys Chow there? Anyway, were you guys watching the voting polls and all that stuff?
No.
I was watching it because I was doing stuff and listening to the vote. At first, I thought Amanda Bylaw was gonna Bylaw. I thought she was gonna win, and then
Yeah, because it was
it
close.
was like it was close, and then
How
it was
close
just
was it?
like boom,
Mm-hmm.
Chow, boom, Chow, and then it was just like
It's hard to describe
a
it. Like
gap.
Yeah, like it was
So like, where did you see it? Where were you watching it?
CP24.
CP24.
Because CP234, they had like this whole thing where they went to both places and they're bouncing between, like, we're live at Olivia Chow's spot, then we're live at Amanda's spot, and we're live at thing. And as they're talking, you're hearing the yelling, and then they'll go back to the office because the polls are closing, and then the results are coming up as like live, right?
So okay, my next question is, you're saying they're live at certain competitors' homes,
No,
where
like wherever they
like
were
their
having
head,
like
station?
like
their
headquarters. Yeah,
celebrations, yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. How many of the people
hmm
that were in the lead, based off the pre-poll, were they actually at?
They were based off what I remember, it was only on the Bilal and Olivia Chow's place. They were like doing the whole yelling and
So two out of a
stuff.
hundred.
I
Two
think.
out of a hundred.
I mean, the rest,
Yes,
they
because
were.
they're going by. I think they're going by the lead. Whoever is the lead right now, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're not going by. I think if it was like this person was in the lead, it's like we're live from that place. You know what I mean?
Okay, they were only looking at the top 5.
hmm
Right. Yeah. Everyone
And
else,
then
the 95 of you. Yeah.
you know what's crazy to find out is that only 39%, I think, voted.
Of Toronto?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Only 39%
Of Toronto.
of Toronto. That's crazy.
So all I'm gonna say is, if you did not vote, and I hear you complain about how Toronto moving, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, because you did not do your diligence. You did not make your voice heard. So don't chat when everything is going down the drain.
That's not even
Thank you.
that's not even a million people.
What's
No.
her population again?
We're like close to 3 mil now, right?
Yes.
Roughly, yeah. That's not even a million people.
Shut. I think what they say, Chloe Brown. They were shocked because, well, not really shocked, but like she was in 6th or 7th place. But you got
Okay.
to remember, she wasn't on most of the debates. She didn't get like the funding like everybody else got.
Right, right.
She is basically like from the grassroots to get where she was.
Organic.
Apparently,
Yeah.
organic. That's what's being told. Do you know what I mean? So, which I agree. I agree. Like basically, she came from the bottom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So shout out to her. Um, yeah. How do you guys feel about this? Because I heard Olivia Chow saying that she felt like everybody else was on the same page when it came to like the city and stuff, and she's gonna be working with the other mayor candidates. How do you guys feel about this? Do you guys wait?
Interesting.
How do you guys feel about this? Like, do you feel great that
See, I don't know if she's saying that just to be like a good sport or like she's really like, nah, I'm gonna like
Actually work with them.
like actually work with them.
Well, one, I don't think I have enough information behind it to really give a real opinion, but based on the information that is in front of me, it's nice to know that she's going to be considering other people, even if they had a different plan from hers, or working cooperatively with others, plays well with others. But other than that, it's like, what goal or mission is she going to be reaching if she's going to have everybody else also included? Wouldn't they kind of go against what she's actually trying to work towards in some degree? Like, prime example, what's his name? Chris Guy?
yo.
Like, if she was to bring Chris Guy on her like team, he could give value, don't get me wrong, but they'd already be butting heads when it comes to taxes.
I mean,
She'd cut him out the chat.
first off, that'd be crazy if he would like.
If he
I
all of a
don't
sudden
think we
started
should
working.
take that guy serious in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, some things he does are pretty on point. Can't lie about that.
He's lying straight through the porcelains, man.
You say he's
Yo.
lying straight to the porcelains? I cannot.
Yo, okay. That like dazed me a second, but nah. No, I think I'm gonna lean on like she's a good sport. She's just saying that just to be like,
Yeah, plays well with others.
plays well, but really work with them? Nah.
Nah, it's all a front.
It's like what?
I don't.
She has to run the 2 years. Remember, because Tori's supposed to do 4, but Tori can't. So
And she could always get reelected.
and that's which will be So in
The
2023,
problem is,
so
I swear we're in a
2025.
deficit. We're in a deficit right now, no? So it's like I think you have to go through. Like I guess we got to go through the deficit first and clear. Like we're in the negative, so I swear I got to clear that out first before we make any other moves, no?
Yeah, but
I feel like we'll always be in a deficit in some form or matter, you know? I think what matters is more so our cash flow. How much are we actually bringing in versus how much is actually going out?
Uh-oh,
True.
taxes is going up. That's what it sounds like. Taxes is going up.
yo,
Right? But why is it that taxes are going up here in Toronto? And specifically in Toronto. Like,
I do not have a clue on that.
they say
Right?
I don't currently
because
live
that
there.
would be a real question. Like,
they say the property taxes you guys pay for is too low.
and it's already like what? We did a math on it. It was like 1.7% or something.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly.
But they want to bring it up to like, it's going all the way up towards 3%.
That's jeez, wow.
And it's like, to those who don't understand why that makes a big difference or change, when you have a house that costs $500,000
And up.
yes,
Yeah, like
now we're up in the millions. Let me roughly do the math here for you guys. Let's say, because a lot of our houses are starting over 600,000, really, 600,000 times 1% is 6,005
for the year.
for the year.
Yeah.
You got that house for 25 years. So let's times that by 25, because that's the average rate as to how much you would pay on a house.
Right.
You're going to end up paying, in addition to your $600,000 house, $150,125 just for property taxes.
And even if you pay off the mortgage, you still have to pay property tax.
Yes. So imagine that bump to 3%. You're timesing that by 3. So now you're basically paying.
So you're gonna be crying like that
450,000.
kid
Yes.
in Monopoly. When I was like, "What's wrong, Billy?" and he's just like, "Taxes,
Yep.
taxes,
Yep.
taxes."
Yeah.
Because it's a human concept. Like another person that looks like me made it up. 18,000
Woo!
in property taxes a year. That's crazy.
20,000. That's some people's income.
Yo. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if you guys, I know some of you can retire, but
Ooh, after 25,
I'm just gonna say,
that is
I,
$500,000.
that's on top of mortgage too.
That's on top of your mortgage.
It's nasty work out here.
Am I going to get something back?
I will be definitely caring for the individuals that are going through this.
Oh my gosh.
On top of that, Z brought up earlier, the violence in Canada, like not just Toronto.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy, guys. My feed has been going nonstop of like live action. Like I feel like run and gun people on the street with their phones and their cameras. Like, you guys are not getting paid for photojournalism. What are you doing? Like, like out here just with,
We are live.
yeah, like, and then sending it to some of these media and blog posts on Instagram, and these guys are then reposting this stuff.
Yo, you guys are doing CP24's job.
Trust me.
You guys are doing their job and risking your life. They don't have to pay for no
Right?
pension plan or health care.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going out there on the front lines.
And doing
with
it.
your social media. And all you're getting in payment is clout.
That's it. And like, I understand the
That's
iPhone,
crazy.
the new iPhone 14 definitely has a zoom times 9%, like times 9. So you
That
could
is
be a little far,
hilarious.
but
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't want to laugh. That is so mean. That is so mean.
I'm just saying.
Keep your distance. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Keep
Yeah,
it, like,
they're
zoom.
doing it distant, like far, zooming in 9 times, and capturing the moment of whatever's happening in real time.
Now,
Yes,
a
lot of violence.
what was brought to my attention today? Apparently, there was a drive-by.
There was a drive-by.
like recently.
There was a person who literally
Well,
jumped out of their car and was shooting at somebody while they were
excuse
walking
me?
with their babies,
That's
their
yeah.
wife and their children. Like the man was pushing his carriage, and a man jumped out of the car, guns a-blazing, to go and like nap this guy. Like,
Wow.
what are we doing in broad day? Might I add, broad daylight.
That's
Okay,
we got to do better. Man.
all right,
We
yeah,
that's just
it's a lot.
that is crazy.
These are the streets of, I don't even know where it is. I want to say streets of Canada right now because
It seems every day there's a report somewhere. Like
it's ridiculous. The amount of violence that is going on. You would think that nobody got $2,000.
yo, Z, you ain't shit for that.
what did,
You ain't
what?
shit for that, Z.
Wow.
You should like
Listen to me.
what
Listen to
you
me. Just because you got the serve check done out from time.
Like-
Leave these people alone.
Oh
That
my
is not
gosh, that threw
nice.
me off too. I wasn't ready for that.
People with the serve check, they're done already. Stop this.
$2,000. That's
You're
crazy.
acting like you never received it.
That is so not nice.
Yo, that is crazy.
Listen, during that time, there were scammers and they got more than 2,000. Okay, so
Wow.
Are you saying because of the financial issues? Well, you know, that may be true.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are people acting like they never got $2,000?
But it's just the way you said it, though. Like, you don't, you ain't, man, you ain't shit for that one.
We should not be going out here doing violent acts to other people.
I mean,
And especially hijacking people's cars. Guys.
that's still a
Is
thing.
that still a thing?
What? It's very much a thing. Even just the
Listen
other
to me.
day. Like, they had something
I'm
where
not-
somebody was watching. So, allegedly, somebody was watching this garage. And they kept seeing these cars go by, right? And they're like, they didn't understand. This person, again, running like CP24, right? Went into the space and walked and filmed all these cars in this space.
Keep in mind, no detective, no police officer, no RCMP. It's just a citizen doing this.
Just a citizen doing this.
No Batman, Bruce
Saying
Wayne.
this is the garage, guys. If any of these cars look like yours,
Wait.
You know where it is.
He's doing it like that. like he's in the garage, like going, yeah, this is yo. Please
Listen to
avoid
me.
being put in the trunk of a car. Whoever's doing that, stop doing that.
Listen to me.
Call the
Can you
police.
imagine that would be a
What's the
terrible
matter with you?
situation. The man's like, this is what if you're looking for a stolen car, it is here, and it's here, and then you hear in the background, hey, what are you doing over here?
Yo.
but this is what I mean. Like, a lot of this is happening. And it's like, I know there's been reports. But you know what? The reason why someone like me gets upset about this is because you know who it's going to affect? Me! My insurance is going to go up because of this.
Yo.
You know what's funny? Okay,
Yeah.
when you pump gas now at night, I turn off my car,
Yeah.
but then I kind of like put myself in a stance that my gas is pumping, but if a man is like coming from anywhere, I'm ready to run in my sandals with keys in hand, like ready to run. Sometimes I go into my car and I click as soon as I don't even start the car yet. I just sit in, click
Wow.
before I even start the car. But it's not even. But it's because you just don't know anymore.
Yeah,
But it's not
like-
like I'm scared. That's just preparation now. That's
Right.
looking
That's
both
just-
ways before you cross the
That's
street.
that's sad. That's
And
preparation.
this
now.
is what I'm saying. Like, I shouldn't walk outside in broad daylight and feel like I have to check over every corner and crevice of my body to ensure that the back of me is covered, the front of me is covered, the side of me is covered. Because I don't know whoever is walking in front of me a little too close or slows down too much. And then all of a sudden I look to the side and then somebody has some kind of like something pointing at them. Listen, I may have ran track back in the day, but I don't got those legs now. So
Wow.
please.
Wow.
Listen, when fear comes to play, I'm running.
Wow.
I am running. You ever see somebody run and then like you try to grab an article of their clothing and they strip out that clothing? I'm
Yo.
trying to be that elusive. You hear me?
Right? But
You
it's
can
just
take the shirt, take the glasses, but just you're not taking my life or this car.
So
God willing.
So
God
story
forbid.
time. I may have said this off camera or on camera. I don't know. But at my workplace, in the parking lot, someone got carjacked. An old woman. So people were standing outside, and then they did the same thing. I don't know if they're on their P's and Q's, but one car's going this way, one car's going that way. They park. They tell the woman, "Hey, drop the car, drop the car." The woman's like, "Nah." Bow! And then the woman's just like, "Oh." Pushed the woman down to the floor, I think. Took the car and then just drove off. But I think they didn't get too far because police there was a undercover in the parking lot, and eventually they caught up and then. But no, it's really that happened. I think it was like last year too. But it's really bad. Like
I don't understand. See, it's just for me. I feel like okay, the time it takes for these people to do this, right off the bat, and hands down, like most people, because it's like. They are skilled. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not skilled. You definitely have coding abilities. You understand technology very well.
Wait, pause it. They
yes,
have coding
abilities. Because in order for you to disenfranchise...
These no-key cars, these guys are just putting the computer in their
They
car and your
pop
car
it
is
in.
gone. It's theirs now.
It was crazy. I see footage. I see a dude like obviously like covered head to toe, but they have the laptop and it just
Yes, and then some of them they even have the thing where it's like the person's in the vehicle, they already have whatever's on the USB. They link it up to the car, and then they just have it work it out on its own. So they have the devices to do it. So it's like you are technologically very good. You have coding, and I'm gonna assume you have coding in your background or knowledge at all. You have a really good understanding of vehicles, vehicle makes. You probably are a mechanic in some degree or learned and have some understanding of mechanics.
Right.
Period. You're a very smart person right off the bat.
I think it's just the one person in the hood that was there the whole time. They said, stay in school. We're going to use you one day. Just stay in school. We're going to use you one day. And now, you see this guy who's playing on the computer all the time? And now look at him. He man.
That's yo.
Like, but you could get probably a very good, honest living if you just did not do that. Because now you put yourself at risk with all this intelligence.
Right. At the same time, like,
but when you gotta eat, none of that stuff matters when you gotta eat, man.
They don't like I think they don't even get a big cut out of that. Like really.
They don't.
Yeah.
Like.
But that's the thing. None of that matters when you gotta eat.
But we have social services. We're in Canada.
But it doesn't. Not everybody's accessible to that resource. You know what I mean?
The food bank.
Apparently,
they do deliveries.
No, apparently food bank, even people that are supposed to have food is overrunning the food bank. Yeah, the food don't have food.
Yeah. You think people who are in the food bank, people are like, oh, they have Kraft white cheddar in there? I'm going to go take that.
No, so apparently, allegedly, there's people that go to the food bank that quote unquote seem to be well off or paycheck to paycheck. And they're now
in the food bank.
They're in the food bank now, yeah. So
but then the problem is, they get mad at you. Like, who are you to judge me?
Well, you shouldn't be. I mean, at one point, as they say, like at least one point in everyone's life, they're gonna reach a level of like poverty or something.
And the problem is, these guys like say your struggle is different from my struggle, but it's still the same struggle. You could shop at No Frills. I can't shop at Loblaws. We're all going through something, man.
That's hilarious.
You know what's crazy? Since the peak of pandemic till now, even like what President's Choice, what's the brand? Smart Choice, I think, and No Name. Those go off the shelf first. No one's buying like the name brands like that as much. If for those that notice. So
So it's kind of being like how the Caribbean would be.
What?
In the sense that because there's a lot of importing exporting of American goods to the Caribbean, the prices of those American things are significantly higher than the actual inland produced market items. So
But yo,
when you
sorry
say
guys,
that,
I gotta come off of this. You guys be safe out here.
Oh, yes,
Take it
always.
easy, guys.
Take it
Okay.
easy.
All right,
Bye.
all right, later.
But the same thing goes for President Choice's Canadian brand. So because it's Canadian brand and we're buying it in-house, a lot of the other brands are actually imported. So the price is going to be a little bit more because of that. So yes, it makes sense that we end up seeing emptier shelves of President Choice because that's Canadian.
So you think it's just because it's Canadian and not so much like
We can afford
economic
it.
hardships? It's like, because like certain President Choice brands, okay, you might go for a few.
Yes.
Like some of their chips are okay.
Yes.
But let's be real.
Yeah, some of the things that you buy from them, you're just like, no.
Yeah, like you're gonna go for Lay's, Doritos.
Yeah.
President's Choice, not so much.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford them now, I mean, they're the first to fly off the shelves, right?
Yes. I mean, that's the sacrifice, your taste buds.
Wow. In this recession.
Yeah. If you cannot afford it, you're going to have to sacrifice the good taste of certain foods. But you know what? That also says if you're a really good if you're a really good cook, it wouldn't matter.
I mean, I don't know if it works. I don't know if it works like that, but
it's not baking.
Okay, baking, yeah.
You have to be like very specific. There's certain things and tastes that you have to do, measurements you have to do. Yes.
Even with baking, though, like the type of quality flour compared to like other brands, like that's really
That's
really
a big
matters.
deal, yeah. But
Like,
cooking, if you're like, okay, I get a 2 grade chicken versus a 8 grade chicken, or a steak or whatever. Yes, understood. Some things are gonna capture the seasoning and the essence and the tones of certain things better than others. Correct.
Right.
But you probably are still gonna have a good steak if you know your stuff, right? You know what kind of steak you have or chicken you have. You're like, okay, it's this kind. It's a little drier than this one, so we're gonna add certain things to make it a little bit more moist. We're gonna cook it a certain way so it can be able to contain certain things more. Like,
right.
yes.
I mean,
if you're a one-trick pony, it's a little hard to make adjustments. Yes.
Right. But this is what's going through. Like,
I'm so upset.
I don't know what the future of this is. Like,
it's just economics. I've been screaming this for the longest while. Economics, guys.
Like, if the economics was better, obviously people wouldn't be like carjacking people, pushing nanas to the floor.
But if people also knew what personal economics and like global economics were as well, a lot of these concerns would not be an issue either.
Right. I mean,
then we'd be able to pick better or have good politicians in our powers.
Right, as opposed to
whoever.
Some of these goofies out here.
Yeah.
Are moving.
We're out here trying to do reality TV here, it seems like.
Yeah, that was
in politics.
That was crazy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're talking about a particular one, but like.
No, just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah.
It's crazy how like for just a quick sidebar for Trump, like I remember watching wrestling, like WWE, and he was having a feud with Vince McMahon, and that guy is an ex-president now. Like it's just like what? Like you were on like what's what is he on? He's on Deal or No, not Deal or No Deal. That's Howie Mandel. That's but he was on a show where like he funds projects. I think it was Shark Tank before Shark Tank.
Okay.
But Trump used to like do stuff like that. He was in the Home Alone. It's just like, but he ended up being a president.
But like marketing,
what?
marketing is a part of your whole thing, and that's definitely necessary, especially if you want to be a politician. You want to get the word around, so you know ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to market. How you market now, different story, right? So like if we all of a sudden see you in a wrestling match and you're running for presidency, and then you all of a sudden tap somebody out, you're like, yeah, and everyone's like, what is he doing in the ring?
Wait, not not to step on the example. This was before he ran, but I understand your point.
Right?
Say
But
what?
it's to get yourself in front of people, right? To say, okay, I'm
Right.
running for presidency. I'm in the ring because I really want to get your vote. Like, I'm here for the people, even for their entertainment,
Right.
right? So, yeah, man. But the other thing, too, is just if they have business, it's not to say that a lot of these people in the careers that they're in, they never had another specialty or form of education outside of what they are known for either.
Okay. Like,
Right? Like prime example, who's the comedian? What's his face? Noah.
Oh, Trevor Noah.
Yes.
Okay.
Him. He's a talk show host,
Yeah.
but he's a comedian.
But he's yes, yeah.
Right? So even though he's a talk show host and he talks about political things, he does it in a comedic satire form. But outside of it, he is someone who does comedy. He does stand-up comedy.
Right. Similar to Jon Stewart.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then even outside of that, he's also an advocate. So just because we see him as a certain way, that doesn't mean that, say he wanted to run for presidency, for example, or like prime minister or whatever establishment in parliament that he wants to like claim.
Something state, yeah.
Right? For us to turn around and be like, but he's only a TV host. Like, we don't know what his credentials are. We don't know if he went to school for law.
It's kind of like Arnold Schwartz, like again, like
Yeah.
action Hollywood, and it's just like
And then here he is as
he was a governor of California.
Yeah.
Like, he ended up being governor. Like what the?
It's like we don't know what his background when he was there, going on all these gigs. We don't know what he was really paying for.
Okay.
He could have been going through school during those times, and that was his way to pay it down.
Now, speaking of paying down or the lack of paying down,
Got you.
I don't know if you guys are aware. If you check your Twitter, it's broken right now.
Oh.
The reason why it's broken right now is because HNIC right now is just Elon Musk. I don't know. They're saying like he didn't pay the web portal Google.
Wait. You saying the man did not pay his bills?
That's what the allegation is.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So like, because there's something where they had to renegotiate. So it's like an ongoing story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was researching, and it went from like he didn't pay the service of Google, because that's how the communication of Twitter and Google work, like the interaction, yeah. To
Wait,
well,
what?
to like they have to mend relationships because he didn't pay, but now he's paying again, but they have to mend the relationship, and
Okay.
it's a lot of.
So is this like an outstanding balance or something? Like an invoice that was missed and they're trying to refute on it, and like
I don't know if they're looking at it like hey, you had like a no payment thing, so like
you need to pay this.
we're gonna need like
a little bit more.
not just a little bit more, but like yo, your word has to be like better, more bonded to you, because like right now.
How long was this? You know what?
Now this started happening this week, Monday. So what happened is.
So when did it get defaulted? That's the question.
The situation started happening like, or I'll say roughly Monday, but the whole payment thing. That was from like what like last year. So
they have been dealing with a outstanding balance from 2022. And it has not been settled in 2023.
let me we do research.
That's
always
wild.
on the show, but
Wild.
there's something with Elon Musk.
I'm still trying to understand where Google's is like, what is their role with Twitter? Because Twitter, how would they actually use or want to incorporate Google? Because the only thing I could think of is like when you want to tag a location.
Right.
And or tracking. That's the only thing I could think of that Google would supplement to them. And that would be the only service that they would acquire. But like, what are they paying Twitter?
So it's like I know Google does that, what you're saying in general, but keep in mind Google has a big cloud business, like a very big one. And cloud, just to break the magic up, it's basically a very big ass hard drive that can hold at least like 2,000 terabytes minimum to 10,000 terabytes of information. So a good reference to this for those watching, look up the show Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is actually a good show because it shows the main character Elliot. He's in one of these facilities and you see the server setups and everything, and each block is like 2,000 terabytes, 2,000 terabytes, 2,000 terabytes. So part of how like the internet works is like all these services access those informations. So there's all Ethernet cords connected to it and everything, and that's how we save and access information on the internet.
Wow.
So if someone were to bomb that thing, everything would be wiped out.
Yeah,
it's like nothing will be kept on record.
Right.
Man, them and gal, will have to go back to books. Unless they burned that down. And that happened in history before where people, certain tribes and civilizations get invaded.
Yeah.
They take all their books, burn it. So it's almost like you forget about your beings, right? You know, it's happened to certain people. You know, I'm not saying any names, but, you know. But...
Woo, wow. That
but nah. The HNIC of Twitter right now, Elon Musk.
Yes.
He didn't pay the cloud thing, like the actual
cloud service.
Storage.
Yeah.
So that Twitter can access.
Have
the access to.
Yeah.
Basically, infinite access.
Yeah. So right now we're on limited data server. Like.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Very limited.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I'm trying to hold on.
So your interaction with Twitter is limited right now. And who is it affecting?
Everybody's Twitter. Everybody. So if you are unverified, you only get to view 600 tweets per day. When you say view 600 tweets per day, meaning, let's say you just go on the website, you start out. Whatever's on that trending page, you already blew out 5 because it's counted as a viewed tweet. You start scrolling down, bam, that's another 10, 15 gone, another 5 gone.
Dang, by the time you get through 10 swipes.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You already meet like 50.
You find the thread you like. Each tweet in that thread, and retweets too, as James said earlier before we went live. Each tweet in that thread counts as a view. So you'll be looking at all the comments, people posting memes, people posting information, keying, laughing, and then all of a sudden, you get a picture, and I'll put it to.
Of like you've exceeded your daily scroll.
No, you're laughing, Z. You're laughing, but hold on.
That's crazy.
So you end up getting this. So I'll show it to those in posts.
Rate limit exceeded.
Rate limit exceeded. So you'll be looking and you'll be like, hey, why can't I see anything? Yeah, it's exceeded. No more. Done. Come back tomorrow.
Not they're trying to do parental advisory controls on you.
Now that's interesting you use that term. Now, I know Twitter is very Wild West when it comes to that.
That's crazy.
But I think you're going at another way, which is interesting. It's almost like you finish your homework, but you have 30 minutes to watch TV or play your video game. You only have 30 minutes. You think to come in at that angle?
Like they're limiting your ability to actually interact with this app.
Right. which was very unlimited before. Just because the HNIC didn't pay or didn't
right?
mend
Like, that's crazy.
with the Google Cloud thing.
That's crazy.
Like,
But that's quite a reality check. That's like one of those moments where, like, you know, everything's good in your household and then your parents don't pay certain things and you're like, why don't I have access to the, well, right now we're going through a hard time and certain things are going to change now.
Wow. I should actually put a viewer viewer discretion, because that may trigger some people. Somebody must have a flashback by now. Be I used to, the lights were cut off and we had to light candles and everything
because somebody didn't pay the bill or they couldn't afford to pay it, or there's still a decision they were transitioning from one thing to another and they decided they wanted a better service or a server, but in that time of them debating, they had to cut it so they can like leave it open for something else. Like,
that's crazy. Because right now it's if you're if you just made an account, you're like, you know, Twitter's entry, let me check this out. You only have 300 views. So like you scroll a little bit and you're already rate exceeded.
yeah.
Now if you're verified, catch the joke, it's 10,000.
Okay.
So the second onion peel of this is, okay, I can see why people would speculate that he wants people to pay for Twitter Blue.
Yeah, it's definitely pushing for that.
Right?
But like, does it mean, like, who are your actual users though? Do you know who your users are? Because I mean, like,
I don't think
a lot of these people were on Twitter just for the shits and giggles of it all, right?
And the craziness of Twitter. Jeez.
Right. And it's a very creative space. So it just sounds like he's corporatizing this creative space. And now pushing out the actual creativity, saying that, okay, now you guys have to pay to be here. Like,
you have to pay, yeah.
this is giving elitism, hierarchy. It's giving, I'm now bearing and obligated to you not paying your bills.
Interesting. Now, another onion that they're talking about is because of what's happening in France, they're trying to like suppress that too. Which is, you've had to mush up a whole server just to like suppress.
To do that?
To suppress like people seeing the image of like civil unrest. Right?
But that goes back to the whole like censorship that Canada is trying to push here.
Right, with the bill that was passed recently.
I mean, we were talking about this in earlier episodes where are we okay if Canada decided to lock all media from outside and just made it where it's containing to just us in Canada?
I think we might find that out in real time. Which people say, well, you can use a VPN and get around it. So
this is true.
So I don't even know what's actually being accomplished, really.
But then again, maybe you probably won't. I mean, like things like Netflix, for example, when they did that whole one user thing and you have to verify your address. How dare they? I heard they had a dip in sales for that.
I imagine. They try to put an article saying, no, the sales were going up. And I'm like, no.
Now you have to actually pay.
I can't imagine like the sales going up after that. Like, no.
Yeah. But censorship on Twitter, that's a little wild. A lot of the best memes came off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Like memes, conversations. I feel like Twitter is definitely a culture trender.
Oh yeah, because it's how fast it is too.
Yeah.
Like
you'll probably see a problem or a situation that happens on Twitter before anywhere.
Like one of the stories we covered with Diverse, the music dancehall artist. That was already on Twitter by the time. And then as we were talking about it, there were like different angles of it happening in real time. And then by then, or like, I use the example again now with France. It was this person got shot at a traffic stop. Allegedly, there's some body cam footage and witnesses that said that's not what happened. And then obviously when there was like no like next step to like ease the situation, they're just like, you know what? Yeah.
Twitter.
And then also, like everything, because it's Twitter, it's thrown on the timeline immediately, and then people start retweeting it, and it gets on the feed. And then on the sides, for those that use Twitter, all of a sudden, you see the topic at hand, like France riot,
trending.
or France, not riot, but France unrest or whatever, or Spready Gibbs, or battle rap, or our presidency, Canada.
Twitter is like the good-looking version of Reddit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like its beautiful brother.
It's like the beautiful brother of Reddit.
Yeah.
It's
Because
like
you have to rank it up for Reddit. But Twitter, it's about resharing. So once you reshare it, that's what makes it trend.
You'll be onto something.
Yo,
Although, compared to Reddit though, you don't see ill stuff on Twitter though. Like you could be looking at Twitter, dead body. You're like, what? Looking on Twitter, outright sex. Whoa, okay. Looking on Twitter, dead body again, like a really graphic dead body. I'm just like, yo, this is.
See, well
it's
then
too like.
There's no advisory.
Yeah, there's no
explicit content warning or anything like that. Well, then like that's something that the algorithm they would have to figure that out in their algorithm, right? So like they're
if they have the money. I don't know if they have the money.
I guess now they gotta pay the bills first. Where they can even do that. It's like, but like that would be a part of that. You would have to just increase your AI, because let's say that they do use AI, unless they do have people scanning through it. They probably don't, but
right.
Let's assume they have AI, and Elon Musk is a man of AI and the importance of artificial intelligence. Why wouldn't he have this integrated in Twitter? So say they have an AI. The AI should be able to recognize when graphic things are happening. I mean, I've noticed that they would put even the explicit content and permission thing on a meme of somebody crying.
Oh, like...
Yeah, so it like, I think it just doesn't know how to read what is explicit and what is not. Like, and that's something that their algorithm will have to pick up.
Right.
They'll have to train it.
The crying meme.
It was a crying meme, literally. The crying meme with the red eyes.
The Michael Jordan, yeah.
It was like, this is what you're saying is explicit content. All right.
Right.
So that's something they would have to work on, but...
I don't know, this thing... I mean, they say he's backpedaling already, like he's adding more...
Things
where it's like, the damage is done, right? You have to think of like advertisers too. Advertisers are probably like, yo, you need to step down. We told you to step down before, but you really need to like get off.
But now it's like, it really goes back to like, is he really complying with censorship here in Canada?
Leave a comment in below.
Yeah.
Is this a weird comply like?
Yeah. And if people are kind of confused as to what I keep referring to when it comes to censorship, I will explain, because I was looking it up. So there's a bill that makes changes to Canada's Broadcasting Act. The legislation requires streaming services such as Netflix and Spotify to pay support Canadian media content like music and TV shows. It also requires the platforms to promote Canadian content. So, also known as online streaming, is designed to force streaming services to favor and financially support Canadian content.
Wow.
So we finally getting paid.
I mean, yeah.
That's nice. That's good news. But we already know there's gatekeeping here.
Like one of the messages you sent in the group, there was another complaint about gatekeeping. Yes. Now, let's just say.
And the person who sent that message, I would have never, ever thought that they were dealing with gatekeeping. So that was what was wild.
In the grand scheme of things,
I would never.
I thought he would like this particular person. I thought he would be able to evade stuff like that. Like
I thought so too.
But now no.
I really thought.
I thought.
There's some people that I really think that
Mr. L. I thought Mr. L was like American big, where he can be like, I don't really.
Yeah, there's a few people who are content creators here in Canada. Who I really thought aren't they are surpassing this line. I thought it never, the line? They're like, what line?
Right.
What are you talking about? Yo, to see and hear, and after having some conversations with some of them, they definitely get that. The pushback, the resistance.
That's true. Wow.
They know, this is the only thing. They know who the gatekeepers are. Unlike the rest of us who don't know who they are and trying to figure it out.
That should be a special pod episode. I don't know when we're going to... But like, okay, wow.
And they know, like, they're just like, no. Yeah.
They know who the gatekeeper is.
Yes.
Or gatekeepers, I should say.
Are. They've encountered them on many occasions. Mm-hmm.
As simple as like, yeah, your content,
you're blocked. This,
that's it.
Nah, we're not putting you on.
Wow.
Yeah, you got all these ratings, still don't care. Yes.
Damn, that's actually.
Yeah. But now the money's coming in, so we should all get paid, shouldn't we?
See, that's the key part. That's the ... That's the like. It's like, should we getting paid? Time will tell. I'm leaning on no though.
Yeah, I think we are going to get paid. Because you know why? The only reason why I say this is because this. And again, this is all a part of, like we just mentioned earlier, economics.
Right.
Right? If we have, and notice, we have had a trend where people are all of a sudden following the American culture. Right? Who has gotten big in the last few years, industry-wise, and has been able to gather or get people to work for this industry now? Porn industry.
Okay.
And the tech.
And tech, okay.
Right? But then the next biggest wave have been entrepreneurs.
Right.
Those are the three that have been definitely influencing Canadian culture. Toronto specifically, you know. But it's American.
Yeah.
Right? So what is Canadian culture looking like these days?
I don't have a clue. I don't know.
Right?
After like the show Schitt's Creek, that was like the last big thing I could think of.
What
TV show wise.
What do we have?
And the series ended too, so
I can honestly tell you what we actually are talking about is domestic stuff. Do you know how to knit, sew, cook, garden, and maybe fish?
Dude, I don't even know if they talk about that.
They do.
Well, they do, but like, it must be not promoted. It must be not. I can't
promoted.
The heat, guys. Today's hot. I'm trying to like speak properly. The heat's just getting to me. I guess it's not as promoted as much on social media. Like I'm pretty sure like the channels exist, but it's just I don't know. It just doesn't come up
as frequent because we are so saturated with American things.
I mean, that could be.
If we removed a lot of American things, a lot of Asian things, a lot of everywhere else, we would then have to be faced with our own music. How many people know that Manifesto is going to be happening?
August
and already
11th.
started. They're promoting.
Right.
Right? Then who else? If Rolling Loud does not come back, what's the other music festival that we have here?
Exactly, yeah.
If Bell does not come in, who do we have here? This is just for me to let everyone know.
Because like I said, we used to have much music.
Yes.
We used to have it every year, and then that kind of dwindled away.
The Juno Awards.
That's the only one left.
Right?
Really.
So this is why I say that if we were to remove, they would have to start paying people here. And they would realize very quickly, especially in those three industries, media would be the biggest and the highest to elevate for need here.
Yeah.
So,
I can definitely say that, yeah.
What?
Because
we got a lot of content creators here, and they're actually really good. So that gatekeeping
doesn't get shine, right? I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Now for our last segment, we tried it out for last week, and it was pretty good response.
Okay.
But this new one now, Hold on, before let me see. Is this the one? This is the one. Oh, this is the older one. But I'm going to tell you guys a newer one. And this one in particular, when I read the title out loud, it caught everybody like, whoa, like, what's happening with this relationship? Right? And it goes like this. Am I the asshole for telling my parents that I will stop paying for everything if they didn't do as I say?
That is very confrontational.
That's very like
if they don't do what I say, is there more details to this? Like,
now, it starts off like this. The username Lucky Excitement. Please pick a better username.
Okay.
First, this is my throwaway account. Interesting. Second, English is not my first language. In my home country, if you want to be a doctor, you go to the medicine high school. A medicine high school is something we actually need here. If you wish to be a musician, that makes me
question where they're from now. High school for us, especially in the Caribbean, people actually graduate and go to post-secondary by the time they're 16.
Right. Yeah.
Just letting that be very clear. For us, the mindset, the idea that you'd even be going to college or somewhere or university at 16 is like, what? Here we allow people to be out of high school by 21. So let it sink in. But anyways.
Wow. Now, I'm going to go back a bit. If you wish to be, to do medicine, you go to a high school that specializes in that. Okay. If you wish to be a musician, you go to the musician high school, etc. I always wanted to be a veterinarian, but my parents didn't let me. Instead, I enrolled in a chemistry high school. I even got a scholarship. I was in the top 5 class, but I always hated it. And in my attempt to, at teenage rebellion, I decided not to go to college. Stupid, I know. But I was incredibly lucky to get the good job in military factories that pays really, really well. Both my parents lost their jobs due to COVID. That's why I moved in with them again. And since then, I've been paying all the bills. Now, it's my little brother's turn to go to high school, and my parents are doing the same thing they did to me. They are trying to convince my brother to enroll in a school he doesn't want, and he feels pressure to do as they say. I know how miserable I was in high school. Don't get me wrong, I made wonderful friends. I don't regret that part, but I regret not standing up for myself, so I decided to stand up for my brother. I told them if they don't let him go to the school of his choice, I will stop giving them money and I will move out. Honestly, I don't think I'm the asshole, but after that, we fought a lot. I'm at my friend's house right now, and I'm getting many angry calls from my parents and relatives calling me ungrateful and how much my parents sacrificed for me. I don't know what to do. Do you have any advice?
Wow, I just want to jump ship for this one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they are saying that you are ungrateful for wanting to choose something in your life, but you didn't. Did they pay for your way to go there? Like, what kind of school is this? Do you have to pay to go to the school? If this is a public school, then the only thing that I could see that you can't, no one's disputing, you're grateful that your parents could give you the roof over your head, probably the food in your belly, and, like all those good stuff, right? Because if they didn't, it's considered neglect. But, you get to the school, if it's not a school that you have to pay for the tuition, it's not an additional cost to them. But
he did say you get a job in military, and usually they would pay out the school. So
if you had to pay, you got reimbursed.
He gets reimbursed, yeah.
Right. So now they are in a predicament, and you opted to help. You didn't leave them high and dry. You opted to help.
Yeah.
You moved in, so you uprooted your life. You accommodated their financial needs for them.
Right.
And because your heartstrings are tugged so viciously, because you don't want your sibling to end up in the same position.
Right.
Now, this could be considered a level of projection, because just because your parents are doing the same thing to your sibling doesn't mean that what they're doing, or that they don't read your sibling well enough to know that, hey, this is probably the better option for you, even though you're passionate about something else.
Right.
Right? You might be really good at it because your skill set says so, but your passion is just different, right? And you put the foot down.
Said like Cosby, put the foot down.
On the fact that you said we are not going to allow history to repeat itself. I was miserable. I don't want their life to be miserable too. Okay. Are you the a-hole because you said boundary is laid for the sake of, and really the sacrifice of, your brother?
Correct, yeah.
Some people may say that you're using your brother as a scapegoat.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But, right, it's like this could be your way out. And you're just saying, okay, I'm now in too deep and it's over my head, paying and taking on this financial, I don't want to say burden, but responsibility. And now you're like, absolutely not. I'm doing too much for you to be messing somebody else's life up. Or possibly messing somebody else's life up.
That's the key part about this. It's
possible.
It's a possible.
Yes.
But he's already seen the red flags.
Yes.
So he's been through the red flags.
Yes.
But he's seeing the same pattern from looking outside.
In. Yes. But
right.
then at the same time, this could be a projecting.
Right.
Yes. So we got to be mindful of that too.
Right. Are you the asshole for that?
To say no? I mean, how long have you been doing this for? That's the next question I would have. How long have you been? I mean, COVID just happened just the other day. So 2019 to when? 2022?
Let's say, so the January this year. So 2023.
Okay.
Or January to January, yeah.
Right?
3 years.
So 3 years.
Paying all the bills.
All their bills.
Yeah.
All theirs.
All, yeah. There's the emphasis, all.
Right?
Light,
of theirs.
Light. All light, utility.
Not just yours. Theirs too.
Yeah.
Okay. So yours, theirs. And clearly the overhead of your brother as well.
And overhead, yeah, indirectly.
Right? And you're basically saying that you're going to stop doing this for this. Okay. I mean, your parents couldn't get another job after this? Like, that's the next question. That's really the question. How long, and are your parents looking for work?
See, but this is the thing, though. If they did find work, he would have less leverage right now.
Right.
With the little brother. Because the parents could be like, okay, we messed up. We took a hit because COVID let us go. We bounced back, though. We're making the same or even more money than before. It's not like he can swerve and be like, oh, I see what you're doing. What you're doing to my little brother that you did to me. They can be like, well, we're paying for everything, right? So... yeah. But that's not the case.
Yeah, it seems like you're paying for everything.
So
if he's paying for everything, he might as well pay into something that he knows his sibling's going to enjoy. Than to put him through and also be the financial, what is this word? Oh my gosh. When you basically side with something indirectly.
When you side with something indirectly.
Yeah, but you don't actually side with it, but you paying into it makes it seem as if you are also an accomplice to it. There's a word for this.
angel investor.
Yeah, but you know,
But
like
it's not really angel investor.
it's like the same situation that happened with what's the crowdfunding site?
You took out
Oh,
you talking about GoFundMe.
yes, and GoFundMe had to reject certain monies because they had to reject certain monies because they basically said that how they would be paying into like a political concern that they are not in agreement to.
So this specific one is about the
Yes.
the truckers.
Yes.
So
it's like in his situation, he is not going to put money towards something that he knows his sibling does not enjoy.
right.
And if he's paying for everything, why pay into something you don't agree to?
Right. And that makes sense.
Right? So I understand. He's not going to put his money there.
I mean, but it's how he said it. He's like, nah, like nah, I'm not paying for nothing. Yo, if you guys continue with this, like I'm not paying for nothing.
Nothing. Man said, I'm not going to have this happen.
Like
not
your
my watch.
like your check's gonna bounce. The mortgage is gonna.
That's crazy. That's a real ultimatum, though.
That's like
that is really taking the knife to the neck, for real. No
right.
pun intended.
That's fucking like.
Did it overheat?
Oh yeah, this is like. Oh yeah, the heat icon. Damn. But nah, for those who are listening, let us know in the comments. Is he the asshole for that?
I think it's extreme. I think it's a bit extreme. Because in other words, you're like, I think for them, they would look at it as a disrespect thing. Because it's like, we're your parents. How dare you bring your brother and put your brother over us?
Okay.
Like, you got where you are because of us. So regardless, you didn't turn out bad. It's that one. But
it didn't turn out bad. That
doesn't matter if I turned out bad or not. Like, I didn't enjoy my life, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or like I sacrificed certain things in order for this to happen. And maybe in sacrificing, yeah, by luck, you had the opportunity to get this position. Doesn't mean that it was guaranteed, though.
Right.
So that's another thing to be mindful of. Yeah, like, is he this is so hard. So hard. I think automatically, like, some people would just be like, oh, of course he is, because how dare he disrespect his parents like that? How dare he put his brother above them? How dare he think that he is big enough to say all this stuff and pull an ultimatum of such magnitude that you're affecting people's livelihood, and it's your own parents. Like, if that's how you would treat your own parents, how would you treat another person?
Right.
So it's like, to that person, they'd be like, of course he is. But then at the same time, I'd be like, I don't know. I feel like the other person would be like, this is trauma. This is a trauma response.
Is a trauma? Well, clearly, yeah, because just like
and wants to withdraw.
Because like you're away from home, and then his brother probably texting him or saying like, "Oh, my parents want me to, or our parents want me to do this." And he's just like, "What? They got you? Nah, let me set this straight."
Yeah. And it's like, we're not doing this again. We're not gonna have another child go through this household doing something that they don't enjoy. And sometimes that's a generational curse people don't know about. Right? Because both your parents may have gone through something because their parents forced them into something. So they think it's okay. So therefore they ended up a certain way and they ended up okay. So, okay, it's okay to force your kids to go and do stuff that they're not passionate about, but just because their skills are good at it, or it's because what's needed, right? Honestly, right off the gate though, I don't see anything wrong with being a veterinarian. Veterinarians make good money.
Right,
First
yeah.
off, like,
That's what
they make good money.
Yeah, I don't understand that part. Yeah. And it's very well needed. They put a
What?
in the old area. That used to be a stomping ground. They put a LCBO there and a pet value place. That pet value place is packed
Almost
all the
every
time.
day. I can imagine.
Right?
Because veterinarians are needed.
Like,
that's an understatement.
shout out to veterinarians out there.
What? But yeah, it's mind-boggling that your parents didn't want you to be a veterinarian, which would also made you an MD.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know why they wouldn't want you to be in the medical field.
Right. And that makes sense.
It's starting to be a little weird for me, because I would see why you would be upset and want to like say what you're saying.
Right.
Because you like pets, or if you have a passion for saving animals, cool. You would actually get a good living out of that.
Right.
Versus what you did now, it's what? Chemistry?
Chemistry, yeah. You're like, what?
Chemistry could still go into some alignment to veterinary work, whether it's the medication, whether it's products, producing certain type of, like even anesthesia. I think chemistry is in that. So you still have the option to do so, right? You're not, but you got a good job. We're not going to tell you where to go and what to do.
Right.
But
because right now he's doing a military something that pays very well, but like with the chemistry.
But baby, you should live your life. That's the other part too. This is where I would turn around and be like, but you should be living your life. Like, do you have kids? Do you have a partner? When you do have these things, if you don't have them, if you do choose to have these things, are you then going to be supporting your parents and that?
Right. That is a factor.
Your parents have your high school sibling to deal with, and you are now being the parent for everybody. I don't think you are. For me, I don't think you are, because you have not lived your life. You are not sacrificing your life to be their keeper when you haven't had a life of your own, clearly, because they've chosen your way. They've limited your options. They have done, and now here you are managing your finances to cover them. You have not lived your life yet.
Right.
That's a lot of sacrificing, if you ask me. So.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. But just the heat's like mushing up everything, clearly here. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, send it to askthevent@gmail.com. Plugs, me, just Del Nigero, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. That's DELNIJIRO, Del Nigero.
You can follow me on Instagram at TheNerdZ, TheNerdZZZ, and check out my photography page at ZZZ Studio TO, ZZZ.STUDIOTO, where I make sure that you look good.
That's true. Just want to say, also to our co-host who is not
Jay Hunterville.
Jay
Still
Hunterville.
deciding whether or not he's going to change his name.
Still deciding, but it's J.HUNTER wait VILLE Jay Hunterville. That'll be on Instagram. I think it's Instagram only.
Yes, that's his Instagram. And then you can also follow him on Twitch at Lou Pistols.
That's LUP. Wait, ISTOLS.
Yes. And you can follow him there as he does new streaming of different games that he's playing.
Right.
Yeah.
When you, I don't know, when you have to spell on the spot, I don't know, just...
Right? You're freezing. You're just like,
what? What?
This takes me back to elementary.
But anyways, I want to say thank you for listening and watching. Yeah, this is The Vent, and we are out. Peace.